Friday 30th of August 2024, cracking little flight from Bo Peep on the South Downs, one of my favourite sites. Ending up in Woodingdean, did actually touch down at Swanborough on the flight through towards Brighton. Yeah, paragliding weather hadn't been too good recently, so plenty of people out on the hill, so pretty busy in the sky. So intention was to get up as high as possible fairly quickly, away from the crowds, and see where we could get to. Bo Peep takes northeasterly winds, so if you fly with the winds, that takes you down to the coast fairly quickly. So any glides and other flying, generally try and head west down the ridge towards Firle, and then across a gap just south of Lewes towards Swanborough. Yeah, some fantastic pilots on the hill this day. So early on in the flight, trying to identify who was who, and who was looking to get away and go cross country. So trying to stay fairly close to the people that I thought might be going some distance. So launched around about 10:30 in the morning, and it took around about an hour before it started working well enough to get some decent height. So the first portion of the flight sort of flying around the Bo Peep area before gradually moving down the ridge towards Firle and getting more height. Yeah, once I started to gain altitude, the views became beautiful. East down towards Eastbourne, and then to the south looking towards sort of Cuckmere Haven, Seaford, and then to the west in the distance Brighton, and then just north of that over towards Lewes. So yeah, some fantastic views. Obviously the higher you get, the better it looks. Yeah, plenty of thermals that morning, and relatively easy to stay in. Pretty smooth conditions, so nice flying conditions. Quite a few of us in the thermals all at once, so but everybody was keeping some decent spacing and flying quite nicely around us.
You're looking good, Rob. Hey, it's good, mate. Nearly as good as Scotland.
Really enjoying flying my Ozone Alpina 4 wing. Had it quite some time now, and put in quite a few hours through it. Enjoying the agility of it, the glide, and the performance. So yeah, it's a pretty good wing for myself for my level of flying, I think. Yeah, I also recently changed to an advanced weightless harness, which again, starting to get used to. Really enjoying it, especially the feel that it gives you in the air. Starting to feel the thermals much more, the movement in the air, and I think it's probably a better build quality than the Sup Air Delight 3 that I had previously. Even though it's lighter material, it seems pretty durable, and yeah, quite a good match, but I guess time will tell. Yeah, extremely fortunate to be able to fly with so many good pilots locally within the club. In the two and a half years that I've been flying, I've flown with some extremely good pilots who I've watched quite closely, try and emulate them as best as possible, thermaling together with quite a few of them now, trying to bring on my flying skills as best as possible. So at this point, gradually gaining more altitude, drifting down the ridgeline, west towards Firle, Brighton in the distance, and getting up high, so it's starting to give us the opportunity to do a cross-country flight. Yeah, this portion of the video is probably one of the highlights of my flight that day, with thermaling up with about 6 or 7 other guys, most of which I knew, pretty much all at the same altitude, so we're all flying pretty level, keeping a nice space in between each other, flying really safe and having an enjoyable time together. Yeah, also in this thermal was Inga and James. James I'd always look to try and follow, because I know that he's going to be going cross country, or pretty certain he would be going on a longer flight, so try and keep an eye on where he is and where he might be going off to. Inga also enjoy flying with. She's really good, especially low down, finding the thermals, sticking with the thermals, and good fun to fly with. Yeah, Inga's just in front of me at this point on the Phi Maestro 2, the burgundy coloured wing. James on the bluey green Sigma 11, and got Mark Rubinstein just above us on the yellow Explorer 2, the same type of wing and colour that I had previously. Yeah, I'd already noticed that Hugh Miller was out flying his Ozone Xeno 2, so this portion of the flight I managed to get into a thermal with him, and clearly if I could stick with him for as long as possible, I might be able to do a little bit of distance. Hugh was on his yellow Ozone Xeno 2 and flying with his normal paragliding partner Mark Watts with the intention of flying towards the Isle of Wight. So pretty much the point of no return now, well down the ridge, just past Furl, thermaling up with James Chancellor on his Sigma 11, trying to get some height before the crossing towards Swanborough. Got Hugh and Mark just above us at this point, trying to stick with them as close as possible. Yeah, always a pleasant part of the flight when you're gliding across the countryside. So at this portion, got Lewis over to my right, the coast on the left-hand side, just passing over the River Ouse. Only taken this route once previously in this direction, so was quite keen to follow James's lines and see which direction he was going. So that was the reasoning for sort of following him down towards Swanborough. Yeah, both of us getting pretty low here, as you can see, and then saw James touch down, so made the decision not to try and scratch any further, to get my feet down and then see what James's intention was. Yeah, there's a little bit of turbulence landing behind some trees and bushes sort of halfway up the ridge. Turned around, could see that James was kiting back to the top of the ridge, so tried to do the same. Yeah, I got a little way up the hill, saw James relaunch, and he got away quite nicely and was starting to gain a little bit of altitude. I think he probably made a slight mistake by not kiting a little bit higher up the hill and flying a little bit too early, taking off a little bit too early. He managed to get up and away, and I seemed to go on a little bit of a lower route over the trees in front of us. Yeah, looking back on this, probably made another mistake here by not turning back and using some of the lift in one of the bowls behind us, because I was too keen to stick with James and try and get up in the air that he was in. So eventually had to land again and get back to the top of the ridge to relaunch. As I was kiting up the hill, I could see a tandem flying in front of me, so realised it was probably the guys from Fly Sussex that I was approaching as I was kiting up before relaunching. Yeah, as soon as I was airborne again and getting established, I moved round into the bowl where the Fly Sussex guys were and realised that it was Tim Cox on the green wing, and he politely let me know that I shouldn't really have relaunched where I did.
Tim. Say again? Apologies, I come from Bo Peep. It was a touch and go. I did learn with you, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, after my quick chat with Tim, I looked back to my right, back to the east, and could see a big flock of birds going up, so went back to join them and got my best climb of the day, getting up to around about 2,500 feet, just over the top of Swanborough. Yeah, in the distance I could see James probably about half a kilometre ahead of me, and further ahead of him in the haze I could see a couple of paragliders, so I assume that was Hugh Miller and Mark Watts heading west, slightly higher and doing quite nicely. At this point, just approaching Brighton, over the top of Woodingdean. The sky started to grey over, not as much blue sky and sunshine to work with, so a little bit trickier finding the thermals, but tried hard to stay up, gave it 5-10 minutes, but wasn't looking good at this stage. I could see James a little bit higher in the distance. He lives far side of Brighton towards Hove, so assumed he was going to land over there, so this wasn't a bad spot to come down and not too difficult for a retrieve, not too far to get back to Bo Peep. So persevered trying to find the weak thermals that there were over the top of Woodingdean. It's round about 900 feet, 1,000 feet, so about 600 feet from the ground, looking to get back airborne again, but realising it was probably not going to happen, so keeping a good eye out for some landing fields, of which there were a few downwind from where I was. So eventually landed just short of 20 kilometres from Bo Peep. Really enjoyable flight. A little bit of hike and fly in the middle of the flight, which made it a little bit of a change. Thanks to James for guiding us to where he did. Always good fun flying with him and learning loads from him. Thanks to the other guys from the club, really enjoyable flying together at the early stages, and congratulations to Mark and Hugh flying all the way to the far side of the Isle of Wight, and last thank you to Phil Clark for picking us up and retrieving us back to Bo Peep.